All right, for this explainer, we're diving deep, I mean really deep, into the darkest parts of the ocean. Why? To meet one of its absolute weirdest and kind of wonderful inhabitants, the sea pig.
Now, I want you to hear this quote. The sea pig is the pinnacle of effortless grace. Effortless grace? You're probably thinking, for a squishy little sausage-shaped thing. But you know what? It actually perfectly captures the strange, kind of charming vibe of this animal.
So the big question is, what is a sea pig? I mean, with a name like that, you're picturing something from a farm, right? Well, I can tell you it has absolutely nothing to do with that. So let's get into it. Okay, get ready for this. The sea pig is actually a type of deep-sea sea cucumber. Yep, a sea cucumber, specifically from a group called scotoplanes. Think of it as this little waddler of the abyss, totally built for a life under insane pressure and in complete, total darkness. And this is where we clear up all that name confusion. You see, a land pig, that's a mammal. Oinks, lives on a farm, the whole deal. A sea pig, on the other hand, is an echinoderm. It's in the same family as starfish and sea urchins. How cool is that? It just hangs out on the deep ocean floor and, yeah, it's totally silent.
So let's get a picture of this thing. The best way I can describe it is, imagine a plump, water-filled sausage. Seriously, it's got this oval body with this kind of translucent, pinkish-white skin. It's actually so clear you can sometimes peek inside and see its organs. They're usually about 4 to 6 inches long and feel super soft and gelatinous, almost like a bag of Jell-O.
And where do they live? Well, only one of the most extreme places on the entire planet. They're chilling on the deep ocean floor, sometimes at depths of up to 19,500 feet. I mean, the pressure down there is just crushing. To put it in perspective, if you tried to bring one up to the surface, its little body would pretty much just turn into goo. Okay, so you've got this soft, squishy creature on a muddy seafloor. How does it even move around without getting completely stuck? Well, it has this totally bizarre and pretty amazing way of walking. That's right, I said walking. See, most sea cucumbers, they just kind of crawl on their bellies. But not the sea pig, oh no. It uses these special little legs to actually walk across the mud. It's the only one in its family that does it. Let's take a closer look at its body parts because they're pretty neat. Those things that look like stilts? Those are its tube feet. Then around its mouth, it's got 10 tentacles that act like little shovels for scooping up food. And see those whip-like things on its back? Those are its feelers, basically helping it smell its way to dinner. The way it walks is just, it's like a genius bit of simple engineering. It's not actually moving its legs with muscles. Instead, it's pumping water in and out of little cavities in its skin. This inflates and deflates its tube feet, creating this kind of wobbly, super careful walk that stops it from sinking into the mud. It's kind of like it's walking on tiny inflatable parade floats.
All right, so we can walk. That's cool. But what in the world does it eat down there in the pitch black miles under the sea? Well, it's a scavenger. It basically eats whatever it can find that drifts down.
Now, the main item on the menu in the deep sea is something called marine snow. And no, it's not actually snow. It's this non-stop shower of organic stuff, little bits of dead plants, animals, and, yeah, poop, that falls from the sunny waters way, way up top. For the creatures down below, this stuff is an absolute feast. So sea pigs are what scientists call deposit feeders. They basically snuffle around in the mud, kind of like a real pig, looking for the good stuff. And get this, they're actually picky eaters. They're looking for the freshest snacks, usually stuff that's only been on the seafloor for less than 100 days.
And how do they find it? Well, they'll usually face into the current and use those feelers on their back to smell for food drifting by. And when something really big falls, like a dead whale, it's a party. Hundreds of them will gather for the buffet. Then they use those 10 sticky tentacles around their mouths to just scoop that tasty mud right in.
You know, you'd think the deep sea would be a pretty lonely, empty place. But sea pigs, they're actually super social. You can find them in these massive groups, which totally changes how we think about the deep, dark abyss.
So what do you call a big group of sea pigs? It's not a herd, it's not a flock, it's a trawl. How about that?
And when I say massive, I mean it. Scientists have seen trawls with up to 600 of these guys all together. Just picture that, hundreds of them, all facing the same way, waiting for food to come their way. But wait, their social life gets even weirder. They have this other little companion, a much more mysterious one.
This is so cool. Apparently, baby king crabs will often hitchhike on sea pigs. They just cling on for a ride across the seafloor. The best guess is that the little crabs are using the sea pig for protection. It's like a deep-sea Uber, or maybe a babysitting service.
So, we've covered what they look like, how they walk, what they eat, even how they hang out together. But what about how they make more sea pigs? Well, this is where things get really, really mysterious. Here's the little bit we do know. There are male and female sea pigs. And to reproduce, they just release eggs and sperm out into the water and, well, hope for the best. Hope they find each other in all that darkness. And that's pretty much all we've got. The list of things we don't know is way, way longer. Like, how did they even find a mate down there? What did they do to attract each other? And the biggest question, how long do they even live for? Look, they live in a place that is so hard for us to get to, so these really basic parts of their lives are still a total secret. If you ask a scientist how they mate or how long they live, you'll get a very simple, honest answer. Nobody knows. The sea pig is just the perfect reminder of how much we still have to learn about our own world, right? It shows us that the deep sea is this place of just incredible wonder, filled with animals and behaviors we're barely starting to understand. It really makes you wonder, what other amazing secrets are hiding down there in the dark?